25 days. That's it. That's all for 25,000 subscribers. That's what I want. But decided to do my day 2 of public insurance adjuster, the life of a public insurance adjuster. YouTube has made it easy for me to be able to teach and for me to be able to tell people about adjusting claims, right? So, because I am, like I said on my first video, I am on a dare by my mentor. He basically said, listen, people should know who you are. You're so selfish. Bottom line, that's what he said in a very polite way. That was Pace Morby, okay? He said, people need to know who you are, and you need to be showing up, and you need to be telling people about what you do. So here goes. What is it that I do? I'm a public insurance adjuster, and my job specifically is to make sure that the insurance company stays honest. That's what I do for a living. Today, I want to share a story because it's so crazy how it is such a needed thing, especially here in California. I'm working the wildfires, and my prayers go out to the people of California. I've been doing this 37 years. Why should you even listen? I've been doing this a very long time. I've been licensed in the state of California since 1991, probably longer than some of you have been alive. Our first client, she said, you've been doing this since the year I was born. I go, oh my goodness. She goes, yeah, since the year I was born. So I've been doing this a very long time. I started in 1987. I started as a contractor. Eventually, I became a licensed GC. I used to own a company called Fire Pro Inc. And I used to do fire reconstruction, and I used to do contents restoration, packouts, total inventories, things like that. I've been doing this a very long time, but here in the state of California, it's very personal to me because this is where I started, right? I used to live just up the street from here in Downey, and raised 3 of our 4 children were born here. And yeah, it means a lot to me. So definitely hope to bring value, especially now that YouTube is making it easy. And if YouTube is making it easy for small channels and for new channels, I am going to continue to show up on YouTube. So this is what happened today. And I'm so glad that I started this journey to hopefully you can send this video to maybe a family member, maybe somebody that was affected by the wildfire, or maybe you can just upload this video and comment, like, whatever, whichever way. I'm old, you all. So where I used to show up was on Facebook all the time. I used to come on YouTube and just do shorts and things like that because I wanted to spread the message of Jesus. I also wanted to spread the message of fitness, right? So I would show up on YouTube, but just, do like little shorts and say a little message. I didn't do all this. It takes time and effort. And, I stayed in my head. I was a perfectionist. I've been on YouTube 11 years, you all. 11 years is a lot of years. But I have never really focused to be on YouTube like that. And I believe that I have something valuable to teach people, and I want to continue to show up. But this is what happened today. And shout out to the Good Shepherd Church of Pasadena, Pastor Jackson James. Wonderful, good human. And we were able to be in his home and talk with him about what we saw. Well, there was one of his friends that actually hired an attorney. And this is why I decided to do this video. He hired an attorney to help him with his fire. And it's like, are you kidding me right now? Because that attorney, imagine, what is it that an attorney does? And it's not our job to say to a policyholder, do not hire an attorney. We cannot do that. If someone wants to hire an attorney, more power to that attorney, right? But think about it. Does someone need an attorney after a claim? It's not a litigation. The insurance company has not denied the claim. On the contrary, the insurance company is going to show up. Like I said on my first video, the insurance company is going to show up and the insurance company is going to be paying probably policy limits. So, do you need an attorney to get policy limits? I would go as far as to say, do you need a public adjuster? Maybe. I've seen where the insurance company does not pay policy limits. Maybe you do, but they're going to pay you something, right? The wildfires took place and the insurance company has to pay you. Why would you need a public adjuster? You would need a public adjuster to make sure all the rest of your endorsements are paid, right? But probably the limits are going to be paid already. But imagine if I, as a company, as a public insurance adjuster, I'm coming in and the job of a public adjuster is to advise and assist in the preparation and presentation of a claim. If my job is to make sure that a policyholder gets a fair settlement for their claim, and I'm coming in, and I know there's different people that are coming in at different fees, right? We as a company, we are charging 10% of the settlement. And why would a policyholder have to pay an attorney? In this particular case, the pastor called the friend and the friend said, hey, I hired an attorney and I hired an attorney at 25%. And that attorney is going to take care of everything for me. Are you kidding me? That is so, to me, my personal opinion, is so wrong because first, an attorney is usually not an expert in this type of cases, okay? Especially that particular attorney that he hired. There is a lot of great attorneys that specialize in insurance claims, and we, at times when we need an attorney, we may get them involved. If an insurance company denies, if it becomes something that it has to deal with litigation. But as far as getting someone pay their coverages, what that person needs is an expert that actually adjusts. The Department of Insurance licenses people like ourselves to make sure that we come in as a neutral party. This is what we do for a living, right? We are public insurance adjusters. Our job is to write that estimate, to be able to negotiate on the different coverages and the endorsements that one may have on coverage A, right? So coverage A is the dwelling, right? Coverage B, and that's whatever the building is where you live, where you sit, that's the building, right? That's coverage A. That's the dwelling part of it. Then there's coverage B, which not every insurance company comes out and tells you, hey, you still have this other 10% unless you insure that other structure for more than the 10%. But it's usually a 10% limit on other structure, which is coverage B. And then typically there is, and you can insure it for more. Like some people may have, an ADU. And if your limits on the dwelling is say 500,000 and you have other structures, and other structures can be not just a garage, not just an ADU, it could be a fence, it could be a pool, anything that's not attached to the building becomes part of coverage B, right? Then there's also other coverages that are part of the dwelling, right? Coverage C is your personal property. Under coverage A, you may have extended replacement costs and you may have code upgrades. You also, as far as the building is concerned, you may have debris removal, which is usually a 5%, and then trees and shrubs is 5%. Those are all part of the limits that a public insurance adjuster is going after. So if a public insurance adjuster is able to come in and write your estimate to help you negotiate, to be able to get you paid on the dwelling and all these other endorsements, why would you pay an attorney 25% of your money? I just don't get it. Like maybe I'm missing something. Usually, an attorney like that, we did a workshop with a really good attorney the other day, and that attorney firm said, very honest, we could not solicit. There is if any public adjuster, by the way, if anybody came to your home or solicited your claim as far as a public adjuster is concerned, they were breaking the law, you all. We have to wait. By the license we hold, we have to wait until the fire is 100% contained. And then 7 days after, we're able to solicit. So the first day was on Saturday. If someone came to your home or made a phone call and called you and gave you information over the phone on a call, that is against the very license that we hold. And I would not do business with a company like that. We went to Pastor Jackson's house to go talk to him. He's actually friends with my business partner, and they used to be neighbors and they know each other. And we went to talk to him today being Monday, February 10th, 2025. Okay. And he's telling us this story. So you imagine this family has coverage on their dwelling. Are you hearing me, YouTube? They have coverage on their dwelling, YouTube. They have coverage on the personal property, and they have coverage on additional living expense. If that amount of their coverages adds up at the end of the day to say $1 million, let's say they have 300,000 on personal property and they have 500,000 on dwelling, okay? And then other structures, 50%, 50,000, the 10%, and then debris removal, which is 5%, 25,000, and then trees and shrubs, 25,000. That's another 50,000. So the 500, the 50 for other structures, that's 550. Trees and shrubs and debris removal, that's another 50,000. That makes it 600,000. Let's say, as an example, they had an additional 50% on coverage on the A coverage on dwelling. That would be $250,000. Let's say, as an example, they had another 20% of code upgrades. It starts adding up. The 600 plus the 250 of code upgrades, and then also the 100,000. You have the 600 and the 250, that's 850, and then the 20,000, which would be 100,000, that would make it $950,000. And let's say, as an example, that their coverage C, the personal property, is an additional 300,000. Well, that makes it $1,250,000. And then there is additional living expense or loss of use. You start adding it up. And if that attorney is coming in at 25%, they're coming in at about $300,000, where a public insurance adjuster is coming in at 10%. That is less than 50% of that fee. And when you are dealing with attorneys, it's a total different game. You have an attorney firm that's representing you on your claim. That insurance company also has to get their attorney involved. and assign someone. There's already an adjuster assigned that holds kind of like almost the same license that we have, except they're adjusters. They represent the company, and we're public insurance adjusters and we represent the public. So why would you want to pay an additional, right, percentage, more than 50% to an attorney, and then have your claim take longer because now the insurance company needs to assign somebody? It just makes no logical sense. I was explaining to Pastor Jackson, I said, I would love to be able to sit down and be able to talk to the congregation and be able to inform them of what it is that we do. We're not doing workshops to specifically, yes, do I want to be able to help as many people as possible? Yes. But more importantly, what we're there to do, we're there to give information so that people know exactly what they should be paid. I believe that the people of California, after the wildfires, they need all the help that one is willing to give them. The most important thing is to be able to be there on the side of that policyholder. I take calls from my clients, sometimes 7, 8, sometimes I'm texting at 9, 10 o'clock at night because there is a need there. And if you have never had a claim, if you have never been outside your home, it's very difficult to be able to understand what some of these families are going through. I was at Pastor Jackson's house, and I don't really watch the news, but he does, and he had the news going, and there was a family, and it was so sad. Her story, as she's telling the story, and I don't know if some of you watch this, but she's saying her mother, in this particular family, they lost 5 homes in this family, and she lost her home. And she said, the only 2 homes that I have ever known is this home. And she's looking at her mother's home that's completely gone. And then my home. And they're both gone. And this is all I've known my entire life. And it broke my heart to hear this woman share her story. It was so, so sad to be able to hear someone's story that's going through so much, because it is difficult. And I was trying to explain to Pastor Jackson, although I have worked fires for 37 years, 95% of the clients that we have represented, they are fire survivors. As much as it is so hard when one family has one fire, that's very difficult to watch and see, because imagine coming home and there's nothing there, right? That's hard. But what the people in California are going through when you have a wildfire is very difficult, because it's not just you that lost everything. In this particular case, this woman that I watched today on the news as I was in his home, it's not just her that lost a home, but it's also her support group. It's her family members that also lost their homes. It's her family, it's her friends, it's those people that usually comfort the policy holder and are there as a support for the policy holder. It's very difficult to go through a fire as a community, because everywhere you turn, there is a need. Your church is no longer there at times. When we worked Paradise, it was an entire town that was gone, right? The churches were gone. The places you went to go get your gas was gone. Your schools were gone. Where you go get your nails is gone. Where you go get the massage is gone. It's an entire community, and it's overwhelming. As I drove through paradise. It was like I cried for this town because this town, I never saw it before the fire, but I could just imagine it because there was so many trees, so many beautiful things that were there before. It's going to take probably over 100 years to replace some of those trees in that town. The what Pasadena, Altadena, Palisades, even, hey, the people of Hawaii, so sad to see an entire community be affected. I ask you, pray for the people that are part of these wildfires. I ask that you give, like, dig deep. What can I do? Going back to my mentor, Pace Morby, that pushed me to do these videos. You know, one of the things that he's doing is he has thus so far, he's moved 4 families from the wildfires and put them in his homes for free. He actually was able to help them move from one state to the next on his dollar. You and I may not be able to do that, but it can be very easy for us to get on our knees and for us to pray for this community. There's also people, we went yesterday, and I say we, but not we. My business partner, she went to a swap meet and she was able to buy all these brand new clothes. And the man that actually sold the clothes, he said, you know, I'm going to give you all this. We have brand new clothes. Maybe not the highest and best of quality, but it's brand new clothes with tags. Brand new clothes with tags. And we gifted 8 bags, and we have a few more bags to go and pick up as well. And he gave us a really good deal on these clothes because he wanted to be part of it. What can you do to be able to help? There was another couple where my friend lives, and they said, we have donations, we have waters, we have gift cards, we have different things. I saw a lady in Altadena, that Celia, if you're watching this, that her family stopped their lives for the past almost month to be there for this community. She lost her garage, lost everything that was inside that garage, all the tools. It's so much she lost. But she has a whole yard with nothing but donations. All of us have come and given to Celia to be able to help the neighborhood. There's water, there's food. I had the best pozole I have ever had in my life that another beautiful soul donated. Like, what can you and I do to help those in need? I am going to be mindful of 25 minutes, 25 days to hopefully reach 25,000 subscribers, to hopefully spread the message of what to do, how to help those fire survivors when they have a claim. There's so much information. I wish that I could just take one thought and be able to take that thought and just expand on that thought. And that was my purpose today. Today I wanted to do another teaching video like the one I did yesterday. But when I heard about this man that hired this attorney at 25%, where this was something that we would have done for 10%, done it quicker, had more experience. This is not an attorney that specializes in fires. These people are not having a denied, a delay. It's not a litigation. It's a valuation problem. And that, as far as valuations, as far as adjustments, as far as negotiations, what a policyholder needs is a public insurance adjuster. The Department of Insurance licensed us as public adjusters, as experts, to be able to help policyholders so that they will be balanced between the insurance company and the everyday consumer. I hope and pray that we continue to pray for the state of California. I am still a Cali girl. That's how I feel. I live between California and Florida, and it's really, really, really a dear state in my heart. I'm a Cali girl, and I'm here to help in anything I can. Let me know anything that I can support you with. Thank you.